Hello, my name is Bontle. I am the co-founder, the executive director, as well as the chief financial officer of a purchase order funding and invoice discounting company called HuhslCap. Wait.
And I am Karabo, born in Hammanskraal, Kojumbili Hospital. And I stayed go Tembago Unit D. I was in what's the school? Prestige College. So I grew up and I was raised in Hammanskraal. Then when I was in grade 2 or 3, my parents moved to Centurion, which that's where I'm currently staying now. So during COVID, I think this story goes back to around COVID time. Obviously there was a lot of things that were happening in the world. There was a lot of job losses, loss of incomes, retrenchments and things like that. So for me, I used to work at the Reserve Bank once upon a time, and then I worked for a consulting house, and then during COVID, salaries got cut a little bit, and then eventually, you could see where it's going, right? More Karabo fan. But my sister here used to work at a purchase order funding company. Not HuhslCap, a different purchase order funding company. So then that's where the idea to say, try this thing of tendering, just submitting quotations, for additional income, and roll up because we're from Northwest. The strategy was, all right, let's go and bid in the Northwest, where there's not as much competition as there is in Gauteng. So we'd get awarded purchase orders here and there, and we'd go to Bontle's company for funding. So purchase orders that we get in Gauteng, they would happily fund those ones. But as soon as we are outside of Gauteng, Moretele local municipalities, because we're from Moretele, we used to get orders from there. They look and say, this municipality under administration, no, we can't do this one. So my wife, having a lot of ideas in her head, she was like, because there were a few orders that we did do successfully with the company that Bontle used to work for. They funded us, we delivered, got paid, everything was okay. So my Whitney was like, no man, but how difficult can it be, to start a purchase order funding company? I mean, we understand the purchase order side of it, what needs to be done.
And you know the challenges of being without capital, right?
We know the challenges that are faced by the SMEs. So one day she gave Bontle a call and asked Bontle, hey Bontle, how are things there, at this company? And I was like, things are okay. And then asked Bontle, hey Bontle, would you ever, jump ship and, start your own thing? Bontle's like, absolutely. I've seen all the mistakes that are being made on this side. I know the do's and don'ts of the business, obviously she could elaborate more about the company she worked for.
Yeah, so my background is in finance. I completed my BCom degree in Financial Management Sciences. I went on to do my CIPA articles, and I qualified as a professional accountant under the South African Institute of Professional Accountants. So that's what I am. I'm also a registered tax practitioner with SARS, as well as a business accountant in practice with the South African, it's now the Chartered Institute for Business Accountants, previously known as SIBA. I was hired at this purchase order funding company as the head of finance. So I was heading up the finance department. Heading up the finance department, having a senior managerial role, I knew the ins and outs. I had an opportunity to know the ins and outs of funding and the funding business. And when Whitney came to me with the idea of perhaps starting our own funding company where we can cater to entrepreneurs awarded orders from your local municipalities, because those are the ones that would predominantly get rejected. So then we thought, why don't we then create a platform that would allow us to cater to these entrepreneurs, to allow them to deliver on their orders. And that is how HuhslCap was birthed. So purchase order, simply put, is a legal document to procure items. Karabo, I think you can elaborate on that.
And I am Karabo, co-founder, executive director, and chief operating officer of a purchase order funding an invoice discounting company called HuhslCap. I have a master's degree in development economics. I first did my undergraduate course at the University of Pretoria, where I did a BCom in statistics, and then I did my master's, or my honors and my master's at the University of Johannesburg. When a government institution or a private corporation wants to procure items, may it be a laptop, may it be stationery, furniture, PPE, whatever the case is, they don't have a petty cash where they just draw from the account, go to macro and go and purchase the goods. What they do is that they request they put out a tender or a RFQ, request for quotation, whereby they invite prospective bidders, in most cases SMEs, to bid and say, hey, let's use the Department of Education, for example. The Department of Education is looking for laptops, maybe 100 laptops, and they put out that RFQ to say, hey, we're looking for a service provider who's going to provide us with these 100 laptops. So what the service providers then do is that they put in their quotation. So they go and they check Macro, they check Incredible Connection, Mustech, whatever suppliers are out there to see where they can get these laptops for the cheapest price. They put in, they get the price, put in their markup, and then submit their tender or their RFQ to the Department of Education. Obviously, there's a number of service providers that do that. So then the Department of Education will then appoint one of these service providers. So when they appoint you, they say, all right, company X, you've been awarded with you've been awarded the tender to provide these laptops, and they issue with the legal document that is the purchase order. So the purchase order will be the document that describes how many laptops are required, what is the specification, and as well how much the department is going to pay you for those laptops. So now the issue comes in here. I'm a service provider. I go to Macro, I go and get my quotations. Maybe the quotations are 700,000 Rand, right? And then the Department of Education tells me that for these laptops, they'll pay me 1 million Rand, right? So for me to be able to be paid the 1 million Rand, I first need to purchase the laptops for 700,000 Rand. So in many cases, unfortunately, SMEs, more especially black-owned SMEs, don't have access to 700,000 Rand. So that's where we as HuhslCap come in to say, no, don't worry. What we will do is that we will assist you with funding the order. We don't give cash, so I won't give the SME 700,000 to go and buy the laptops. Instead, what we do is that we purchase the laptops on the SME's behalf. We purchase, we make sure that the laptops get delivered to the client. We wait for the client to pay after 30 days. Then when the client pays, we'll take back our 700,000 that we used to purchase the laptops, as well as a small fee then for facilitating the transaction.
So the current economic climate in South Africa is actually part of the reason why HuhslCap exists, right? To be able to provide financial solutions for entrepreneurs that are excluded from, participating in the economy because of lack of funds and lack of financing. So where and the current climate also creates unemployment, right? It creates poverty and the likes. So where we come in as HuhslCap is we come in to readdress, those challenges caused by the imbalances of the past, right? We are literally coming in as people who want to make change, who want to contribute to change, who want to ensure economic participation amongst all of the South African citizens, black people, of course, being the people that we target. So that is how it affects us. It affects us. That's why we exist. There's a problem in the country. So we are there to solve the problem of the current economic climate.
In South Africa, we are faced with the triple challenge of inequality, unemployment, and poverty.
If I talk about the root cause, I'd absolutely say it is the past, right? However, right now, especially as adults, we need to also take accountability for our lives and educate ourselves, right? There is access. We've got Wi-Fi, we've got free Wi-Fi, we've got smartphones these days, we've got friends and families that do, we don't. So as we grow, I feel like at some point we do need to be accountable because the information is out there. However, I think the root cause, the ripple effect that we are trying to address started from the imbalances caused by the past.